Hey everyone, I hope all of you are doing great. So in this lesson we are going to be talking about Redis High Availability. So there are many ways of implementing Redis High Availability, but in this lesson we are going to learn one of the simplest ways, which is using Redis Master and Redis Replica. So here you can see I have tried to create a simple diagram which is going to make you understand how Redis Master and Redis Replica works. So here you can see we have a Redis Master database, and the IP address of Redis Master database is 192.168.0.19, and Redis Master service is running on 6379 port. And for Redis slave, even though the IP is same, but port is so basically service is listening on 6380. Because I do not have two different servers to implement Redis High Availability, so that's why I'm just going to basically run Redis database services on Docker, and that's why if you see the IP address is going to be the same, but however the port is going to be different for each of the Redis instance, and that is how we will know that it is a separate instance. However, in real world production scenario, you are going to install Redis Master on one server, and then you are going to install Redis slave on completely different server. So in that case, IP address of Redis Master is going to be different, and IP address of Redis slave is also going to be completely different. So Redis slave is going to be basically a replica of Redis Master. Okay, so whatever data you write in Redis Master, it is going to be synced with Redis slave. Okay, and this syncing happens asynchronously. So basically Redis Master is going to send the data to Redis Replica, and then it is basically Redis slave's responsibility to make sure or write those changes in Redis database, Redis Replica database as well. Okay, so at any point of time, if Redis Master goes down, in that case you can still read the data from Redis slave. And also, if you want to enable writing mode, in that case you have to make some configuration changes in Redis slave to enable it for writing as well. By default, Redis Master is going to be used for read and write, and Redis slave or Redis Replica is going to be used only for reading. But yeah, if you want to promote it to master, this can be promoted to master as well in the case of failover situation. So let's go ahead and try to understand the same with one more diagram, that how it is going to connect using some applications. So here let's assume that this is a server, or this is a end user device from where or this is the server where our application is, and this application is basically making a read or write request to Redis Master server. Okay, and then if it wants to make only read request, it can also make read request to Redis Replica server. So it basically depends on the application. If it is only going to perform read only operation, in that case it can send the request to any of these servers. If it wants to send write request, then it has to send request to master server. If it sends write request to Replica server, in that case it is going to get the error. Now let's open Redis CLI, and then we are going to we are going to set up Redis High Availability using Master Replica configuration. So in the notepad I have some I do have some Docker configuration which I have already written here. So I'm going to use it in order to basically run Redis on Docker. So let me show you how these commands are going to work. So here you can see we are using Docker run, and -v is basically for volume. So I think you might be aware of little bit of Docker, but since this tutorial is not about Docker, I'm not really going to go into more detail of Docker. But basically what we are doing here is we are mounting a volume. Okay, so we are assigning you can say a mount point to Docker mount point. Okay, because inside Docker there is going to be some mount points, and on our host server where we are running Docker, there is also going to be a mount point. So basically what we are saying is that we are going to put Redis configuration file in apps redis master /conf directory. Okay, and also we are going to put our data file under /apps redis master data. Okay, and the name of this instance is going to be called Redis Master, and -p is indicating the port on which this Docker service is going to listen read or write request, so which is going to be 6379. Okay, and then again we are just telling it that Redis server should read the configuration file from this location. Okay, that's all. But basically, in short, you just need to understand this configuration is going to basically install Redis for Redis Master, and this one is going to install Redis for Redis Slave. Now let's first install Redis Master, and I will tell you what are the changes we need to make in Redis configuration file when we are installing Redis Replica or Redis Slave. So let's do one thing. Let's move on. And first of all, we need to make sure we have created this directory in our local server. So right now you can see I'm under /apps. So under /apps we need to go to Redis. So I'm going to go to Redis, and inside this we do not have any folder. So I'm going to create a folder called master by writing mkdir master, and then I'm going to create another folder inside master which is going to be called /conf, and then we need one more folder inside master which is going to be called data. Okay, now if I do ls, you can see we have master, and if we go inside master and do ls again, you can see we have conf and data directories. So we are pretty much good. Now we need to create a Redis configuration file. Okay, so Redis configuration file must be created under conf directory. So I'm going to go to conf directory, and here right now I'm just going to create an empty Redis configuration file. Okay, so I'm just going to write redis conf, and I'm going to only give hash and going to save and exit. Now if I do ls, you can see redis.conf file is created here. So now let's go ahead and run this command. So this is a Docker command. This is just going to create a Docker container which is going to run Redis. Okay, Redis master instance in this case. So let's run it, hit enter. Now you can see it has given us a container ID, so it means process has run properly. But in order to verify it, we should run docker container logs, and we should give the name of the container, which is redis_master. In fact, we don't really need to put containers. We can just say docker logs redis master. Now here you can see it is giving us the log saying that ready to accept connection. It means our Redis master is running properly. Now in order to connect to this Redis master, what we can do is we can do redis-cli, and we can simply actually hit enter, because by default it is going to try to connect to port 6379, and this is the port where our Redis master service is listening on. So now you can see, let's do Redis. Let's first clear the screen and do keys space star. You can see right now we do not have any keys. So I'm going to create a key called name. I'm going to give my name. Then we are going to see the keys again. Here you can see we have a key called name. If I want to see the value of this, you can see we are able to get the value. Now this is about Redis master. So we have set up the Redis master instance. Now let's go ahead and set up one more instance, which is going to be Redis replica instance. So I'm going to open a new command prompt, and I'm going to log into the server. Okay, and let me do one thing. Let me keep replica on the right hand side and master on the left side. Okay, also on top you can always see that we are inside /apps redis master conf. And other thing you can verify is we are connected to port 6379. So 6379 means this port is basically for master Redis master, and on the right hand side we are going to connect to we are going to install and going to connect to Redis replica, which is going to listen on port 6380. So let's clear the screen and go to cd/apps/redis. Now inside this we have a folder called master, but for a slave we are going to create another folder which is going to be called slave. So I'm going to write mkdir slave, and then inside slave we are going to create one more folder called con, and then we are going to create one more folder under slave which is called let's call it data. Okay, now you can see we have folder called slave. Let's move inside this folder and do ls. You can see we have a folder called conf and data. So we are going to go inside conf folder, and now here we need to create a configuration file for Redis. So here I'm going to say vi redis.conf in order to create a file, and here we need to tell that this replica, or this basically Redis instance is a replica of Redis Master instance. So we are going to say replica of, and we need to tell which instance it is going to connect to. So it is going to connect to 192.168.0.19 on port 6379. Okay, that is where our master is running on. Save this, and you can verify it by doing cat redisconf. You can see this is written under redis.configuration file. Okay, now we are going to copy this and going to run it. Okay, now notice here one thing, you can see port is 6380. So we are telling that other instance of Redis, which is a slave instance or replica instance, is going to run on port 6380. So let's copy it, and I'm going to paste it here. Sorry, I need to copy it again. Move here, paste it, and hit enter. Okay, so you can see we can do docker logs redis underscore slave again, and here you can let me maximize it. Here you can see the logs. Okay, it is saying that it is basically it has started the sync, it has connected to master, and it has been able to connect, and it has received some keys information, and it has basically now synced itself with master. So let's do one thing, let's connect to this instance. Now let's go to side-by-side mode again. So on the left you see master, on the right side you see a replica. So let me clear the screen and let me connect to this replica's Redis by writing redis -cli. And in this case we don't want to connect to default port, because if I do redis -cli and if I hit enter, it is going to connect me to service which is listening on port 6379, which is for master. However, I want to connect for replica instance. So in that case I'm going to specify the port by writing -p and going to write 6380 and hit enter. So now you can see we are connected to a Redis instance which is running or listening on 6380, and we know that this instance is for replica or for slave. So let's do keys space star. Here you can see we have a key name which is called name here. Okay, so whatever data was there in master has been replicated here on this replica instance as well. So now let's go to master and let's try to add one more key which is called age. Let's give some age info here, and here now on the child side we can do keys space star. You can see age information has also been synced here. Okay, so now you can see this is how high availability works. So let's say if this master goes down, we'll be able to read the data from Redis replica instance. Now let's try to read data from here. Let's do get age. You can see we got the information. Let's do get name. You can see we got the information. Now let's try to write something on Redis replica instance. So I'm going to say set gender male, and here you can see we are getting the error which says read only. You can't write against a read only replica, okay, because this replica is basically meant for read only because it is a replica, so it is going to serve its purpose. Okay, now let's do one thing. Let's shut down the services of master, Redis master. So for that I'm going to first exit from here, and then because we are running Redis on Docker container, so we are going to stop Docker container which is for Redis underscore master. So it means it will stop Docker container stop. Hang on, let me clear the screen first. Docker container stop Redis underscore master. Now it has stopped container which is called Redis master. So it means now we only have one replica. We have only one Redis instance which is of Redis replica. Now let's do key star here again. You can see this one is running fine. Okay, and let's say if we try to connect to Redis master using Redis CLI, you can see it is giving us the error because now we have stopped Redis master services. However, Redis replica is still running and it can process all the read requests. Now what if you want to change or if you want to make it or promote it to master. So in that case you need to write replica of, and here you need to write no one. Okay, so you need to write replica of no one, and then now it is promoted to master. So if I want to make a write request here now, so for example, let's say I want to add a gender, you can see it has accepted the request, and we can do keys star. Here you can see now information, gender key information has been written here. So let's say if I want to add some more information, for example, favorite movie, let's call it, okay, so we can do again keys star. So here you can see basically we are able to we have promoted replica to master, and we are able to write information to master as well. So this is how replicas work, and this is how Redis high availability work. Now one very important thing which you need to remember is that when you are setting up Redis master and Redis replica, in that case you need to make sure that you have enabled persistence data. Okay, if you have not enabled persistence data on master, in that case you are going to get into big problem, and I will show you how. Okay, so let's start Docker, let's start master services again. Now let me start Docker container start Redis master connection refused. Oh yeah, sorry, we need to exit from here first, and then we need to write Docker container start Redis underscore master. Now notice guys, there is one thing which you need to notice here is that now we actually promoted this replica or this slave to master. Okay, so and we also wrote some extra information here, for example gender and favorite movie. Now once I bring master services up, this replica is going to sync up again with whatever information which was there in master, and it is going to bring itself to the same state in which master is. So basically in master we do not have this information which is called gender and favorite movie, so it is going to delete these data or going to drop these data. Okay, we will see that in action. So let's do Docker container start Redis master, and then we are going to just run keys star here on the replica. Do again keys star. Oh yeah, by the way, we actually changed the configuration here, right? We changed it to and set it as replica of no one. So that's why right now it is basically not syncing with master. So we are going to change this again. We are going to make it replica of 192.168.43.19.6379 port. Sorry, the IP address is 0.19. Now hit enter. It is saying okay, do keys space star, and you will see slowly it is going to see here. You can see that it has dropped this data which is favorite movie and gender, because this data was not available here in master. You can see on the Redis master we only had age and name. So now on Redis replica or Redis slave also we only have age and name. Okay, so basically once you fail over and promote Redis slave to master, and after that you want to restore, okay, you want to make the primary master again to master, in that case you need to make sure that first you take a backup of RDB which was there on slave side, you copy that to master, load all the data, and then after that only you promote Redis this Redis primary one back to master. Otherwise, if master is having less data and slave is having more data, and you bring up master services, Redis slave is going to lose all the data, okay, because master is having less data. Now let's do one more thing. So what we are going to do here is let me exit from here and let me stop Redis master, Redis container stop Redis master. Okay, oh sorry, Docker container stop Redis master. Okay, so Redis master is stopped. Now we are going to go to the configuration file. of the master, and we are going to disable backup. Okay, we are going to basically disable persistence. So I'm going to say save here, and then we are going to say append only to no. Okay, so this will ensure that there is no backup or no persistence is going to be enabled. Now we can go to cd. Let's go to one folder back and go to cd data. Okay, and you can see here we have dump.rdb, which was taking backup earlier. So now we are going to remove this, and now I have cleared the screen. Okay, now let's start Redis service. Okay, now what do you think is going to happen? Let me show you what is going to happen. Let's say I do Redis hyphen CLI. Okay, I have not started Redis Master again, so I need to do docker container Redis _ master, docker container start Redis Master, and then we are going to do Redis CLI. So now we are connected to master. If we do keys space star, you can see there is no keys here. Now you see, if I go to Redis slave also has dropped all the data, so it has emptied itself. So this is a problem which you will see. Let's say you have Redis Master, okay, and on Redis Master you have not enabled persistence. So in that case, let's say if I okay, let me clear the screen on both the sides first. Okay, so here you can see we have Redis Master on the left side. You can see on the right side we have Redis slave. Okay, so on the Redis Master side we do not have any key. Okay, now I'm going to write a new key which is called name, and I have put some value there. Then I'm going to write another key which is called age. Let me put some value there, and another key, let me put some value there, and we can see that these three keys are there. Now Replica is going to replicate itself and going to make it to same state on which Redis Master is. So if we do keys space star here, we can see age, gender, name information is there in Replica as well. Now we have not enabled persistence, right? We are not really persisting these data on disk, because we have disabled RDB, and we have also disabled append only files. So I have given information about RDB and append only file in Redis persistent lecture. So please go on and watch that one as well, because that is going to be give you more detail and going to make more sense, because right now I think you might be getting confused what is this Redis persistence I'm talking about. So please go and watch that video. You'll be able to understand this video in more detail, okay, after watching that video. So now here, let's say now for some reason Redis Master services crashes or it restarts itself. Okay, so let me do that by doing docker container restart Redis _ master. Okay, so what we are doing here is we are restarting master services to simulate some Redis Master crash. Okay, Redis Master crash and auto restart, or maybe a Redis Master server crash, and that server is going to automatically start itself. And then once the server is started, let's say we have enabled Redis services to start on the boot. Okay, so in that case, what is going to happen? Let's see. So here you can see Redis Master is restarted, and let's observe what is happening here on the slave. I'm going to write key star. You see what has happened here? Now Redis slave has removed all the data. And why it has done it? Because Redis Master was not really, we were not really persisting anything in Redis Master. So when Redis Master crashed, it went down, and when it started, there was no backup. Okay, so Redis Master started as a fresh blank data, and Redis slave, whatever state Redis Master was in, it made its state same like Redis Master. So basically we ended up, even though we have high availability enabled, but we ended up losing all our data. So that is what you need to make sure whenever you are running, whenever you have enabled high availability. In that case, you need to make sure you have also enabled some sort of data persistence on the master Redis Master instance. Okay, that is of utmost important. Or if you have not enabled you have not enabled persistence, in that case please make sure you also disable Redis automatic restart after let's say server reboots. Okay, so because if server reboots, Redis is going to start and it is going to create a fresh instance, okay, because there is no data available to load from Redis backup. And after that, this is what is going to happen. Both your data set is going to become blank. Okay, so that's all about Redis high availability. I hope this lesson made sense. I know this can be little confusing, but just go through this video maybe a couple of times. You'll be able to understand what I'm talking about. And also make sure you implement this or do some hands-on of Redis high availability. And after that, things are going to be easy once you get comfortable writing or setting up Redis master slave configuration on your own. Things are going to be easier. You'll be able to understand in more detail. Okay, so that's all in this video. See you again in the next lesson with some new content.